And viruses are most easily spread by attachments in email messages or instant messaging messages. That is why we say that it is essential that you never open email attachments unless you know who it is from and whether you are expecting such a mail from that person. Viruses also spread through downloads on the internet. Whenever you are downloading a file, the virus may, if that file is from some unknown source or not an authentic site, maybe virus comes along with that download. And types of viruses, they are boot sector viruses, program viruses, as well as macro. Boot sector virus, it infects the boot sector on a disk, replaces the original boot sector with itself, or stores the original boot sector somewhere else, or replaces it totally. And virus takes control of the system when the booting takes place, and may infect other disks that are inserted unless they are right protected, and may also infect disks. Program viruses are there. The virus operates by inserting or attaching itself to a legitimate program or document that support macros in order to execute its code. Macro virus is a virus composed of a sequence of instruction that is interpreted rather than executed directly. Macroviruses can infect either executables or data files. Example for that is Highlands Lotus 123 spreadsheet virus. Duff shell virus can execute on any system that can interpret the instruction. It's a piece of self-replicating code written in an application's macro language. A macro virus requires an auto-execute macro, one which is executed in response to some event. Opening or closing a file or starting an application. Once the macro virus is running, it can copy itself to other documents, delete few files, etc. And the computer worm, a self-replicating computer program similar to a computer virus. Unlike a virus, it is self-contained and does not need to be part of another program to propagate itself. Often designed to exploit computers' file transmission capability. A Trojan is also a malicious program disguised as legitimate software, cannot replicate itself in contrast to some other types of malware like worms and viruses, but they are also contained within a worm. And depending on their purpose, a Trojan can be destructive or a resource hog, and is almost always considered a root compromise. Trojan is this Trojan and worm, that is not a virus, but these are malwares or malicious program. A logic bomb, which is called a slack code, programming code inserted or designed to execute under particular circumstances. Clean your computer with the best things that we could do is clean our computer with antivirus software. And still, if your computer is not functioning, you have data and you want to recover it, always hire a trusted expert. Whenever a computer is or a hard drive is infected, it is possible to retrieve your data if you are approaching a expert. So viruses, the host may be at a place, but the computers that are infected may be in different regions of the world. That is what this picture is showing. And this can happen also in a fraction of maybe few seconds. Antivirus software, this computer programs intended to identify and eliminate computer viruses are known as antivirus software. It's a class of program that searches a hard drive and a floppy disk for any known or potential viruses. Antivirus program or your USB may be instead of floppy disk, or your USB may be also search for potential viruses. Antivirus program runs in the random access memory of a computer. It uses RAM of a computer. And it uses two different techniques to accomplish or to destruct the virus. First one is examining files to look for known viruses by means of a virus dictionary. It compares whether that virus is present in your computer, identifying suspicious behavior from any computer program which might indicate infection. And most commercial antivirus software uses both of these approaches. Either it goes searches for this virus dictionary, virus which is present in virus dictionary, or some files that have a suspicious behavior. Antivirus is a software that scans files or your computer's memory for certain patterns that may indicate an infection. The patterns it looks for are based on the signatures, fingerprints of known virus. Once a virus is detected in the wild, the antivirus companies then release these new patterns for your antivirus software to use. These updates come out daily by some vendors, and that is why even if we are purchasing an antivirus, we need to update our antivirus. Virus authors are continually releasing new and updated viruses. Once you have installed an antivirus package, you should scan your entire computer periodically. The system and the software asks when you should run this antivirus software. Always leave your antivirus software running so it can provide constant protection. Automatic scans, depending what software you choose, you may be able to configure it to automatically scan specific files or directories and prompt you at set intervals to perform complete scans. Manual scans are there. It is also a good idea to manually scan files you receive from an outside source before opening them. This includes saving and scanning email attachments or web downloads rather than selecting the option to open them directly from the source. Whenever you are inserting your CDs, your USB, scan for viruses before opening any of the files. And your email, Gmail has automatic scanning. So you may see that sometimes it shows that scanning is not provided. Do you want to open your mail and all? So that is again what Google provides for its users. And there are two different types of antivirus softwares for different computers. Some are designed for personal computers and some are for servers and other enterprises. There are mainly two types, specific and general. Depending on the installation method of the antivirus, these can be in the following form: on access, on demand, and hardware. Depending on the way they fix viruses, they can be in the following: antivirus, anti-spyware, and anti-spam application. Antivirus applications maintain a database of known viruses and compare scanned files that match the characteristics of known viruses. If a scanned file matches those characteristics of known viruses, then what it does is it is quarantined, which means moved to a new, presumably safe location on disk and renamed so you can find it should you ever need it, so that it cannot affect other files on your system. Signature detection is just one way of identifying viruses and is only effective if the virus database is up to date and contains the signature of a virus. Antivirus programs also attempt to identify suspicious behavior, include an application attempting to write to an executable file, altering needed system files, making suspicious registry entries, or adding to the list of items that execute automatically upon system startup. Once a file is quarantined, the application can attempt to repair it, delete it, or prompt you for a decision on what to do about the file infected. The pop-up comes out once the whole files are scanned, and it's based on your decision. It's based on your decision that the quarantine file, either it is repaired, it is deleted. So it manually you have to give your decision what has to be done with the quarantine file. This is actually because it is so, if it is showing some suspicious behavior, the antivirus software that doesn't want to delete that file according to its wish. So it gives you a chance, to see whether it is a virus or not. This approach helps protect against unidentified or encrypted viruses and can alert you to suspicious behavior happening on your computer. This interesting is an area where anti-spyware, anti-adware or antivirus software often notice the same kinds of activities because they are typical adware and spyware as well as malware.